idcwoodcraft.com.
Hello, my CNC brother or sister. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft. Welcome to this Vectric 101 video. If you are brand spanking green new to the Vectric software, looking at it going, I don't even know where to start, this video is for you. In this 1 hour video, you are going to learn how to start drawing in the Vectric software, and you're going to understand the basics in Vectric enough to start playing around with the design side of it, not toolpath side of it. What I want to say to you, if you are like trying to get right over to start creating projects, stop. You've got to understand the software. So what this is a one-on-one that I did with Joe, a CNC brother, who was exactly in your shoes, looked at the Vector software going, I don't know what to do. And so I did a one-on-one with him, and in 1 hour, Joe was up to speed where he understood a lot of the basics, and then he had to go and practice. But the point is you are going to learn more in this video than you'd learn anywhere else, because he's going to be asking the same questions that you would ask. That's why we made this public. Joe gave me permission to do this. So he wanted you to be able to have the same luxury as he had and learn it step by step in the right way. So we're going to dive into the Vectric software with Joe and start learning. Play with the software as we're doing this. It's going slow and methodical, the way that you need it when you're first starting out. So let's get rolling. Okay, so we're working with Joe. Joe is brand new to this stuff, brand new to the Vectric software. So we're just going to walk in step by step and just get some basic things set up. So in the left at the top says create a file. All right, so what you're looking at here is you have a one-sided job, two-sided, and you have the rotary. So rotary you'll never use. Two-sided, don't touch for now. You'll drive yourself crazy. This is your project size here.
Yep.
Okay. And so that's the width. Whatever you type in here is the size of your piece of material that you're going to be working with.
I want to ask questions just for clarification. Okay.
Absolutely. Go
okay.
For
Perfect.
It.
The job size, and this is where I got a little confused. I know this is going to sound stupid, but
no. So okay. Number one, no questions stupid. Okay.
Okay.
You're brand new with this stuff, so we're recording this because this is going to help other people as well.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So what's your question? Job size. So we are looking at this area right here.
Correct. The job size is, like you said, that's just the piece of wood I'm using, right? That's not going to be the actual finished product if I'm cutting it out, correct?
Yes. The job size is that raw piece of wood that you're putting on the machine to carve your project out of.
Okay. Okay. I got it. I'm just taking notes. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So you have the width of the board, the raw board, the height of the raw board, and then the thickness. Now, one thing, you always want to measure your thickness on boards if you're cutting them out. And that's the number you want to put in. Like if you buy material from Lowe's, it's like a 2x4, right? It's not true 2x4.
Right.
Okay. So it's usually going to be a little thinner. And of course, if you work in inches or millimeters, that's what you want to set on. You are in inches. All right. So the next one, the Z0 position. This is where you are telling the software whether it's going to set toolpaths from the top of the material or the bottom of the material.
Okay.
Okay. And most of the time you start from the top of the material. There's different times you choose which one. Then the next one, XY datum position. So this is, first of all, you see the little checkbox next to it?
Yes.
Okay. Always leave it unchecked. Until you become really, really, really good at this stuff, always leave that unchecked.
Okay.
And typically when you're designing, start it in the middle of the box. That is set in your zero reference point. Okay. If we go into a design right now, you see a little red dot in the middle of the screen?
Yes.
Okay. That red dot is the 0 point. And if you created the tool path that's going to carve your project, then you would have to set your 0 point off the middle of the project. It's just easier to design off the middle of the project. Sometimes you'll want to go at the bottom, sometimes you'll go in the middle, but later on you change it to a corner.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you, because I see a lot of the videos where guys start their machine. Is that referring to the setting your XYZ when you're going to start your project?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. But right now in design mode, it's just easy to have that 0 point right in the middle of the project.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just what people do. All right. So the next one is the resolution, or the what is that? Resolution, modeling resolution. Okay. So basically, the higher the resolution, the more time it's going to take for your computer to process your toolpaths, basically. You don't work with high resolution unless you're dealing with 3D models. Okay, so it should always just be on standard until you start inserting 3D models. As a beginner, don't touch 3D models. Just get good at your basic designing. And then the material settings, you can set different, that's what the 3D model is going to look like. It's going to simulate pine or oak or granite, depending on what you select here. I just stay with pine. Doesn't really matter. You can also set the color if you want.
Well, I was gonna. Is that where when you showing it, and in that video you had it go to granite black, so I could see it. That's kind of cool to see it there.
Yeah, this is where you'll change it at. So you can click that, click the drop down, and you'll have all kinds of options here.
Okay.
Okay. So we don't really want those options. So we're just going to click off, and then you click OK.
Okay.
Okay. Now you're ready to start designing, with your basic designs. All right. We're going to run through the general layout of this screen so you understand everything that's here. Okay. On the left side, this whole blue area on the left is all your design tools. Right. So you're going to design everything in a 2D perspective. And it's also file management up here. There's lots of things here. We're going to run through just the basics in this.
Okay.
Okay. Right here is the 2D layout, which is what we're looking at. The 3D view is after you do carving simulation. If I click that right now, there's a simulated piece of wood in the screen, and I can flip it around. Right? It looks kind of plain and flat right now because we have not done anything on that. So we're going to leave that one alone. And we're going to go back over to here. This is a layers command, and don't mess with it too much right now until you get a little bit better. But just so you know, if you decide to bring in a bitmap, a picture or something like that, it's going to create a layer for that. And then you'll use layers for different things. So right now, don't try to create layers until you learn how to design. Okay. There's a bunch of tools up here, all these little icons up here that you can do different things with. These first two on the left are something they call snap. And that will snap your cursor to different points in your project when you're drawing lines. So it makes it easy to, if you have an endpoint on a line and you need to start another line at that endpoint, the snap feature is turned on, it'll snap to that endpoint and start that line at that endpoint. Okay. We'll get back to that. So everything up here is turned on. We're going from here to here. These three are turned on, and these two are turned on when you see a little square around the icon. Okay. So right now these two snaps are turned on. This is a grid. So you click that and it'll put a grid into your screen.
Okay.
Okay. I typically don't work with grids, but that's, some people like it. These are some zoom buttons, but most of the time we don't use it because you'll use it with your mouse. Okay, I have to stop for just a second because I've seen this way too much from people I've worked with. they don't use a mouse. They're always trying to use the little pad on their laptop or going over to little sidebars in the screen to make things move up and down on your screen. You are working way, way, way too hard. Get yourself a mouse and get used to it. Design software is actually built for mice. Okay, so you want to get a mouse. I will put a link down in the description for this mouse here, which is the one I like and recommend. It's got extra features if you want to use it. But the things you want to use on your mouse that you will use all the time in the Design Vectric is your left mouse button, your right mouse button, and your scroll wheel. You will use, if you don't use a scroll wheel, you're going to be like, oh, what an amazing treat. Because scroll wheels make life that much easier. Get a mouse. There's a link down in the description. If you don't have one, stop the video, go down there, order it right now, and then continue on with the video. Don't forget, because you're working way too hard. Way too hard. Like here, I can zoom out, zoom back in. I'm just scrolling my mouse wheel.
Oh, that's okay.
Roll your mouse wheel.
Oh man. Okay.
Okay. Now, here's another little trick. Push directly down on the mouse wheel and you'll feel it click. And now move the mouse around.
Okay.
No, it's not working. So if you look at my picture, me.
All right.
Okay, there's a wheel there.
Yeah.
Instead of rolling it, just push directly down on it and it should click. And
okay.
Once it clicks, hold it down and then move it around a little bit.
Oh, I didn't hold it.
Okay.
Oh, man.
So that's called panning.
Okay.
All right. The beauty behind that is so you don't have to fiddle with these slide bars at all. I see way too many people fiddling with the slide bars and it's such a pain in the ass. Okay. Use that scroll wheel on the mouse, push straight down, and you can pan your stuff around all you want. The scroll wheel forward and backward will zoom in and out.
Okay.
Okay, so most of the time, these buttons, these magnifier buttons up here, you won't use, but occasionally you might use them. All right, so we're not going to worry about these other two right here yet. We will look at these last two, though. These last two split your screen.
Yep.
Okay. So I click that. Now you have a 2D view and a 3D view. So you use that later on. Right now, if you want to re-maximize this screen, which is what we're going to do, just click the maximize that window box. Okay. And then you can click one of these yeah, it's that one there. Okay. So the middle magnifier brings it back to full view. All right. So that's pretty much the layout of your screen.
Okay.
Okay. You've got all the tools up here, the standard tools in computers. Plus stuff that's specific to Vectric, like the tool path, the machine information. One of the things is when you start a project, you always want to save it right away. Yeah, a lot of people like to go up to the file, save the file here, hit that drop down and save down here. You don't need to.
Okay.
It's got a little save button right here.
Okay.
Okay. So save this project.
You want me to?
Yep. You don't learn unless you do.
Yep. Okay.
That should have asked you. Click it again. There it goes. All right. Give it a name. Well, first of all, you always want it to be in a directory that you want your thing in. Okay, it looks like you got a directory called CNC router.
Well, actually, that's if we click on that, that's stuff that I had. That's what that is. See what it says?
Oh, okay. That's stuff I gave you. Okay.
Yeah.
That comes with the router bit set, the starter bit set.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that's why I'm glad we're doing this. So maybe you could tell me like what's a good, like what should I put it in? Documents or downloads?
So go to documents, which you're in right now.
Okay.
Okay. You're in documents. Right there is a new folder button. Click that button. All right. Now just call this CNC projects. Okay, hit enter once. Then double click that folder. All right, and then give the project file a name. Call it training 1.
Okay. There you go. Training 1.
Okay, save it. Okay, so now that project is saved.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to come back in. All right. I'm going to run through these icons right here. The first one, which is create a new file. All right, you can either go up to the file menu and start a new job, or here you'll create a new project. This one is to open a folder, open it, to find an existing file.
Okay.
This saves, and that's import vectors. So we're not going to worry about that one right now. This one will bring in bitmaps, images. This button is how you set your job up. When I click that, it brings us back to that job setup screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you need that because sometimes you have to go back in and change the values in here. You might have a piece of wood and then you realize you mismeasured it, or the thickness was different. There's lots of different reasons why you might go into that. This is a standard cut button, like you would find in Word or something like that.
Okay.
You can select a vector and you can cut it. I believe I'm going to just draw something. I don't think I've ever used that button. So if I use cut, yep, it just undoes that.
You didn't use those scissors. You didn't use the cut for that sign when you mirrored it.
That's different. That's different. So that has nothing to do with really designing. There's another way of doing this. You'll never use that button.
Okay.
Okay. You got the copy button. You have the paste button. You have undo and redo. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is create vectors. This is where you just do all your drawing at. This is where you, no matter how, this is where you actually create new lines in your project. Okay. Any type of line is considered a vector, whether it's a word, circle, square, straight line, it's a vector.
Okay.
Okay. So vector is, you'll hear that everywhere. In the top row are, you can clearly see what shapes they're designed to do. The two that you'll use most of the time is the circle and the square. The second row has your straight lines. It has arcs and curves. They're called Bozier curves, or Bozier, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And then you can do texture. Now, texture don't play with. The ones you'll use the most are the circle, the square, and the 3 line buttons there. You'll also use the text button. You have different text functions right now. The only one you want to work with is that one right there. All right, so what I just told Joe is what I'm telling you. If you're brand new to the Vectric software, don't worry about carving yet. Just get to know the software. Understand these functions I just told Joe: circle, square, the 3 line functions, and the last one is the text function. We're going to teach you one more, which will be the trim function. I'm going to throw a couple others in there just so you understand what they're doing, because we need to use them for right now. However, these are the ones you got to remember. Play with. Don't get over to try to carve stuff. Play with these for a while until you start to understand how they're working. Please do that. You'll save yourself so much effort. idcwoodcraft.com. So this is right where we're going to start. We don't really need to know a whole lot down here, but we will cover the important one, which is the cut function right there.
Okay.
Okay, that trims, it's not a cut function, it's a trim function. It'll trim vectors. Let's just start on the circle. I want you to click the circle. So now just go out anywhere in the drawing. But before you click anything, if you look at the circle values, I'm going to come back in. You see over in this area, you got a 0, 0.
Yes.
That means that's where the center of that circle is going to start from when you draw it. If you use if you use this button right here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And right now you're clicked on diameter.
Yes.
Switch to radius. It says 6 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Click the create button and watch what happens. Okay. You created a circle directly on from the middle of the project.
Because that's where my cursor was, right?
No, that's because the values of X and Y were set at 0, 0.
Okay.
Okay. Change the X value to -5 and then click the create button again.
Just 5 is good. Like
Make
that?
it -5.
Let's see, minus.
And click create. And now it centered it -5 in the negative direction, right? So it was right here, right? But
Yep.
because now this is -5 inches over, because you told it the center of the circle is going to start at -5 over from the 0 position.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So if it was +5, where is it going to put the circle at?
It would put it on the on my screen, it would be on the right-hand side.
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing you can do is ignore those altogether. And right now it says 6 inches. So go somewhere in the screen and just click once. There. So it built a new circle based on where you clicked at.
Okay.
All right. Now, one more thing is hold your left mouse button down and move your mouse out a little bit. Okay, now let it go. Okay, now you created a circle manually. It started from wherever the center of your mouse was, and it stopped wherever you let go of the button at. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so right here, if I drag out just a little bit and let go, I just make a tiny circle. If I drag out a lot, I can make a huge circle. Once I let go, that circle's created. So here's where one of the good things comes in is, say we made a mistake. So this first circle was a mistake, right? Not the first one, the huge one I made.
Yeah.
We can't carve it. This is how you undo what you're doing, right? You start to back up. Hold the control button down.
Okay.
And then press Z once. Okay, the big circle disappeared. Are you still holding control button down?
I am now.
Okay, press Z again, watch the little circle. Okay, hold the control button down, just don't let it go.
Got it.
Hit Z 2 more times. Watch the screen. Hit it again. Okay, now hit the Y button while you're holding control. Hit it again. Hit it again. Okay. All right.
All right. You know what I was doing to get rid of it? I'm sure you know what I was doing to get rid of it.
What?
I would highlight my mistakes just like you did, and I was right-clicking and undoing all that other crap on the mouse. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, well, that's one way you can delete things.
Okay.
Okay. So now you know how to back up if you make a mistake. So close the circle command. Okay. Now select the big circle. I'm going to teach you how to select these things. I'm going to come in first.
Okay.
The first way to select items is by hovering your mouse directly on top of it and clicking once, and it's selected. Okay.
Right.
The other way you can do it is by coming from right to left, very specific. As long as that box that I've created touches that circle, it's going to select it. Okay, that's from right to left.
Okay.
Now, if I go from left to right and make roughly the same size box, and I let go, it didn't select it.
Nothing.
Because when you're going from right to left, it's going to select anything that box is touching. So if I just barely touch this other circle right there, now it's selected everything that box is touched.
Okay.
Okay. But if I create a box coming that way, way over here, just to get rid of that circle going from left to right, what's it going to select?
It's not going to select any of them.
Except for the little circle. It selected the little circle. Because the reason is because this box will pick anything completely inside of its boundaries. This is a very important distinction. When you are using your mouse and you press the left mouse button and create a box from right to left, then whatever that box touches will get selected. Anything inside and anything that dotted line that you're creating with that box touches will be selected. If you create the box from the left to the right, it will only grab things that are completely enclosed inside of that box. If any part of a vector is outside the box when you're going from left to right, it will not select that vector. Now, why are we having these two different features when you're selecting things? Because it actually makes it easy for you to select like specific items that you want to select inside of a jumble of things. Whereas when you're doing the right to left, you can just grab a whole bunch of stuff in one shot. Left to right, you're grabbing stuff specifically inside the box. Right to left, anything inside the box and anything that touches the box. idcwoodcraft.com. So from left to right, from this direction to the right, it'll pick anything inside the boundaries, but not, if it's crossing the boundary, it won't select it.
Okay.
But if you go from right to left, it'll select anything the box is touching.
Okay.
So explain that back so I'll make sure you get that.
Okay. Anything. Okay. Anything going. Okay. Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's let you do it. You just do it.
Okay.
So the way to deselect, okay. So you just click anywhere in the white space and you'll deselect things. So going left to right. Now don't let go of your mouse button.
Nope.
Stop right there. Now hold your mouse button down. So you see what happened?
Yes, it selected all those.
It only selected two.
I meant, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I was touching them.
Yes. Okay. Now select left to right. Okay, selected nothing. Now just take that little circle. Tell you what, go like right here, and then create a box out like that.
Oh yeah, see the circle is hidden behind our pictures.
Oh, drag our picture down to the lower left.
Okay. Okay. All right, here we go. I'll do it again. Okay, left to right now.
Yep.
Oops.
Okay, so you were right on a vector when you did that. It didn't pick because the circle was not completely inside the box. From left to right, the circle, any object that's completely inside the box that you create will be selected. But if any part of that object is hanging out, it won't select it. So right now it's going to select everything you just touched.
Okay.
Now now start from here, right here, and create that box back out to here.
Okay. Oh, so it's got to be in the box.
Yes. Yeah. When you're going from left to right.
Okay.
So that's a nice, cool little feature. Okay.
All right.
All right. So that's now one other thing is another way you can select items. This is big because you'll do this a lot. So you have that circle selected, and let's say you want to select that middle circle, right? You got You just want to select something else. You need to, if you hold the shift button down, then you can start selecting multiple items. First of all, wait a minute. You're in circle mode.
Oh, shit.
Just go get out of circle mode. Close that. I'm not quite sure how we got into that. Okay, now hold your shift button down and start selecting. Just hover over a line. So as long as you have the shift button held down, it's going to hold each previous selection and add the new one to it.
Okay.
Okay, now let the shift button go and select another circle that you haven't selected yet. Okay, so now you see you lost the other selections. Okay, because the shift button wasn't held down.
But did you, right, you told me to let it go, right?
Yeah, it was this is so you could see what's going on.
Okay.
Okay, so hold your shift button down and select a couple more circles. Okay, now let's just pretend you accidentally let go of the shift button.
Okay.
And select one you haven't selected yet. Okay. So without the shift button held down, you can only select one vector at a time.
Okay, so let's do
Shift button held down, you can select as many vectors as you want.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So what we've covered so far is how to select objects in this. Number one is creating a window, or first, number one is selecting each item. Put your mouse over it and select it. All right. If you want to select multiple items, then one way is to hold the shift button down and keep putting your mouse over each item and select it. The other way is to create a box from left to right or right to left.
Okay.
Right to left, we'll select anything the box touches. Left to right, we'll select anything that's inside the box. Don't worry, you'll get a copy. You'll get a copy of this recording.
Oh, okay. Never mind that. I was doing notes. Okay, never mind. All right, cool.
I dropped my drink on the floor. Okay. All right. So now you've got that. Okay. So delete the big circle. Okay. So you're selected a big circle.
Right.
Hit the delete button or use the cut button. This is where you can use the cut button. So you can use this button right here. I just never use it. You can use that button or hit the delete button on your keyboard. That's normally where, okay, so that will delete
I just can't see it. Okay.
All right. Another, and that's how you can do other things too. So we'll select these. I went left to right.
Went left to right.
Hit the delete button again.
Okay.
Okay. So now I'm going to select that one. All right. Now go use the scissors up top, the cut button up there. Okay. It's the same thing.
Okay.
That scissors up there is the same as the delete button. So there's two ways you can delete a vector.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now you've learned how to cut things. You've learned how to select them. Right. All right. And we went to circle. You learned a little bit about circle. Now select the square button. All right. Again, you have that bead. You have this bead right on the middle here. Okay. And then you got a bead on all four corners. That's going to tell you where that rectangle is going to draw from. If you have the same thing here, you got the X and the Y 0. Okay. That's telling it the start point.
Okay.
of the rectangle, the circle, doesn't matter the shape. That's still the start point. The button is telling you where it's going to get built out from. Okay, I am stopping for just a second because I have to make sure you understand what these dots mean and how they work. So the dots have nothing to do with coordinates. It has to do with how the rectangle is going to be created when you tell the software to create it. So in the software, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 dots around the corners and 1 in the middle. And it goes just like that. Now, if you select the middle dot, which that's called a radio button. All those little dots where you can only pick one of the selection, it's called a radio button. And it's just like a radio station. Okay, the reason is because if you push dot dot, you're on FM 102. This dot is FM 103. You can't be on both. So that's why they call it a radio button. It's just a technical word. Okay, so if you select the middle dot, it doesn't matter where on your design that rectangle is placed. It's what this is telling it is how the rectangle is going to form, or where the rectangle is going to be built from. So we have the center dot selected. That means this one, this one, this one, and this one are not selected. So what will happen is when you tell Vectric to create the rectangle in the way that I'll be showing you, it's going to say, okay, I'm going to build the rectangle from that dot. So therefore, that rectangle is going to be built around the dot just like you saw. So this would be the actual rectangle that it draws in the software, but it's referencing the center of it. So now let's pretend we're going back to that same image. And my marker is having some issue. This one, this one, this one, this one, and that one. And so now we're going to pick the lower left dot. So when you tell the software to create the rectangle, it's going to say, okay, this is the coordinate right there that you have told it, which you'll start to understand as we move along if you haven't started to pick it up already. And it's going to say, okay, that's the coordinate. So the rectangle is going to be built up and out that way. Okay, because we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and I hope you can see that. Let's make it bigger. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our drawing. And we had this one selected. So that means it's the same way it's building the rectangle out that way. And when you go up that way, that is this corner. So the rectangle will look like that from this point because you had this point selected on the software. I do apologize, my markers are starting to wear out. So we're going to do one more to get you, to help you understand this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's say we pick this dot, the upper. Let's pick the upper right dot right there. So we tell Vectric that we are going to design it from this upper right dot. So in Vectric, it is now going to create the rectangle from the coordinate that we tell it, which is right here, and it's going to tell it to build it that way and that way. So your rectangle is basically like this, and it's referencing that top corner. So the rectangle is going to build out that way, and the far corner will be out like that. So the software will build it from the upper right corner down that way. The coordinates in the little box, which we will talk about, do not designate or are not relative to the dot. The coordinates tell the dot where it's going to start, and then the rectangle will build in the direction I just showed you based on these 5 points. So remember, It'll build out from the center if you have the center dot made, selected. It'll build up and to the right if you have the lower left dot selected. And it'll build up or down and to the left if you have the upper right dot selected. If you have the upper left dot selected, it'll come down and to the right. idcwoodcraft.com. So what this is telling us right now is the start point is 0, 0, which is right here. Okay. And that the rectangle, because the button in the middle is selected, when it creates a rectangle, it'll be built out from the middle. So that rectangle will come out like this.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm just going to do it right now. This is a rectangle, but we're just going to make it a 2 by 2 inch square. So this is the same like with the circle. You have a 2-inch wide, I'm sorry, it's not like the circle. You have a 2-inch wide square by a 2-inch tall square. I'm going to click the create button. With that middle button selected and that saying 0, 0, that rectangle or square that I'm going to create is going to be right here on the middle. Okay, so there it is. So what happens if I put a -5 or a +5 in here?
It should move over to the left.
All right, what if I put a +2 in here?
That should move over to the right.
Nope. So this one is Y. That's up and down. X is left and right. Y is up and down.
Oh, okay.
Just like in math, you got to go back to your algebra days. In CNC, you have axes, right? Your 3 axes, your X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And you're looking at this project as if you're looking over top of it on your CNC router.
Okay.
Okay. So now it's the same thing here. If I just come over here and I click once, it made a 2-inch square there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you click and hold, now you can create the size square that you want. But notice that it's making it from the corner that I started at.
Yes.
Okay. So that's not responding to this at all.
Okay.
When you're doing that, a click and hold. So this, and you notice that these numbers are now weird numbers.
Yeah.
That's because it took in the numbers of the rectangle I just created.
Okay.
Okay. As I drug this out, let's just see. Watch these numbers right here. And see how they're changing as I make the rectangle bigger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's just taking the numbers and then the rectangle's randomly placed. Hit Control and hit Z 4 times. All right, good. Okay, so now what I want you to do is see the X and Y numbers up top. They're really screwy numbers.
Yeah.
Change them to 0.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to show you something just real quick. So let's just say you got a number in here. Okay. I went too big. Okay. Okay. So you don't have to come in here and back up. You can double click in this field. I'm teaching you a shortcut.
Okay.
See how it selected everything? Now just type in the number that you want. So you want 0.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Okay. So you don't have to go in and start backtracking and stuff. A lot of people do that.
Yeah,
Just double click
backspace.
the number and type in your new number.
Okay.
Okay. So your rectangle now, what's going to happen if you click the create button?
Let's see.
First of all, before we do that, look at the bottom. What are the sizes of your rectangle?
It's 5 by 5, 5.8 by 5.
Yeah. Okay. So change it to 3 by 3. Change it to 3 by 5. 3 wide. Oh, you did it. You selected in there and you drug your mouse. right? Here's why I say that, because it's such a friggin' pain in the ass to try to grab that number and do that. You just hover into it, double click it, and you got it.
Wait, what did I do? What did I do wrong?
You didn't do anything wrong. You just did it the hard way. Okay, you came in with your cursor on that side of the mouse, then you drug your mouse that way to select your numbers.
Okay.
Right, just double click in there. I'm just trying to save you, like, it's just a little bit easier. It's not a big deal.
Okay, no. This is stuff I want to learn. So okay, here I'll do it again. Okay, so just double click, and there it is. I'll put another 5 in there. Got it.
You don't even need a decimal point unless you're making a decimal point, right? Unless it's going to be 5.5 or something.
Yeah.
Now, looking at the button at the top and the X and Y numbers, where's this? How's this rectangle going to be made?
That's going to go dead center.
Right. So click create. This is how you get the exact rectangles in the exact place you want. So there it is, dead center.
Okay.
You know what? Let's get rid of these circles. Wait a minute, Control Z. Have to get out of there. You can't delete when you're in a function.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can Control Z when you're in a function. You can back up, but you can't delete when you're in a function. Okay, so now look at, I just went back in a rectangle after I deleted them, and look, the rectangle size is different from what you typed in.
Right.
Why is that? You might not have seen it. I accidentally created a rectangle. When I selected those things, I actually created a rectangle.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now exit out of the rectangle and delete the rectangle you created.
Okay, exit out of rectangle. Okay.
Now delete that rectangle.
And then the delete button.
Yep.
Got it.
Now go back into rectangle. All right. Now change your X and Y to 0. Looks like you drag across there. So now you see you have a -0 in that one.
Yeah.
It shouldn't make a difference, but I'm not. Just double click. Okay, so it's not taking a 0, that minus, just delete, hit backspace twice. There you go. Just type in 0. Okay. All right. Change your rectangle size to 2 inch by 2 inch. All right. Now, click the create button. Okay. See where I got created at, right? Dead net center. Hit Control Z to undo that. Okay. Now, in the top, click the lower left round button. There's a rectangle. There's a rectangle up there. Click the lower left. There you go. Now click the create button.
Huh.
Okay, so what you just did is you're telling it to make a 2 inch by 2 inch circle, right? It's all started on 0, so which is right here. And you're telling it now by clicking that lower left button that the rectangle is going to be starting from this corner and it's going to build out. That means that the rectangle, notice that the rectangle is built out that way.
Yeah.
The little blue button is going out that way as well.
Yep.
Okay, now click the Control Z. Now do one of the other buttons.
Oh, okay.
Now Control Z and do another button.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So you understand what's happening now?
Yes.
Okay, explain it to me.
Okay. Each one of those dots up there represent the middle, the crosshair, right smack dab there in the middle. And that's going to be the starting point.
The dots do not. The dots don't. These numbers do. The X0 and Y0 are represented in the middle of the project.
Oh, okay, yeah. That it put it in that it put it in there. It put it in that spot because it's 0 and 0.
Right. And why is the rectangle built out down and to the left or to the right? Down and to the right now.
Well, because I chose that anchor point up there, which is the starting point.
Yep. So anchor point is telling you that basically the dot that you have selected, the rectangle will always build in the direction from the dot that you see in that little rectangle there.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how a rectangle works. Now there's some other cool things with the rectangle. Okay, we've spent quite a bit of time on rectangles to help you understand this at a deep level. I hope that you've got some things so far. Now I'm going to show you some very cool things that you can do with a rectangle to add a lot of accent to your projects. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Check this out. idcwoodcraft.com. Just so you know, change your rectangle size to, let's go 8 wide by 6 tall. All right, then go back to the middle of the rectangle. Nope, not there. Select the middle button, middle radio button.
Right up here?
Yep. Okay, so now down below, so these little round buttons are called radio buttons. All right, now what that basically, it's like a radio station. You can only be on one station at a time, right?
Okay.
Okay, so that, when you have radio buttons, you can only be on one button at a time. That's why they call it a radio button. Okay, down below you have 3. One that says square, the other one says round external, and the other one says round internal. Okay, now, first of all, click Control Z, because we're going to get rid of that rectangle. All right, now, you saw the rectangles you were creating. Go ahead and create a new rectangle. Okay, nice, clean, square rectangle, right?
Mm-hmm.
If a rectangle can be square. All right, Control Z. Now, click the second radio button that says Radius External and change the number in the box that just highlighted to a 1. Now click Create. Okay, now Control Z.
If I can remember this shit, I'll be all right.
You know, it's all right. That's why you're going to have a recording, right? All right, now click the third one and do it again.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So one thing I want to show you is you see the radio buttons that we have right here.
Yes.
Okay. Look at the little picture next to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now you're on radius internal. So that radius is internal. That's exactly what you created out here.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The radius external, we'll Control Z that. We change that to radius external. And now it's rounded there. And that's exactly what you're going to create out here. All right. Control
Oh, man.
Control Z, hit the square one. And now this picture makes a square corner. And you have a square corner here.
Oh, man. That was one of the projects I was screwing around with. I'm like, oh, yeah, I want to round those corners off. How the hell do I round those corners off? But I think that might be later on down the line.
Right. So that's one way. That's the easy way you can do it, to round corners. There's other ways to do it, but that's for a later time.
Okay.
So let's close this.
Okay.
Now you're done with the rectangle.
All right, now you have learned about
circles, and rectangles. And we've spent a ton of time on that. And why? Because these are the foundational things that you need to know, and you'll use circles and rectangles a lot. We're going to get into lines now, the straight lines, the curves, and arc. Now, before we get into that, a couple things I do want to ask. If you feel like in this hour so far, you have gotten good direction, got some basic understanding of what's going on, and of course, by virtue of Joe asking the questions that you would be asking, then please take a moment and press the like button just below this video. The like button is that thumbs up button. Also, I would love to see a comment from you of what you picked up or what you thought about this video so far in this training. Did it really help you? And then finally, subscribe to the channel, because this is how you're going to learn on this channel. This is how deep I take you, so you really understand the basics. So take a second and subscribe. Also, down in the description, there are links for you to take a look at to videos that I have that will get you to the next video, some freebies that I have, the video list that I've created of all the videos on this channel that are sorted for you as a beginner, so you walk up this ladder in a logical progression, so you don't have train wrecks and don't understand what's going on when you have that train wreck. We don't want to do that. We want to do this the right way so you make amazing projects. And finally, for doing this, I am a router bit company, IDC Woodcraft, and for all this content that you're going to run into, that maybe you'll support me by supporting my business, the router bits that I provide to you. I take a lot of pride in my business, and I want to make sure that you have the right tools, good quality tools, and get them when you want them, plus a little treat along the way. All right, let's dive back in, start working into lines. So the next one you want to work with is the lines. Okay, so you have three different line functions here. Okay, we're going to do this, then we're going to be done. Well, I'll show you text too. Okay. So I'm going to cover lines briefly. Okay. The first one is straight lines. You see it's like a zigzag here.
Yes.
When you click that, we're going to ignore this whole menu box. Okay. Out here, you see, look at the cursor. It's got a zigzag line on it.
Yep.
That means that's just your visual reference to know that you are in polyline.
Okay.
Okay. I click once, and now I'm starting to create a line. Click again, and it anchored that line there, and now it's starting a new one.
Are you holding the button as you're doing this, or no?
Nope. You click the mouse. You just click the mouse once. You just click it. So I'm going to click right there. I just clicked it and let it go. And now it started a new line. Click it, let it go. Start a new line. Click it, click, 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 click. All right.
Okay.
Now, if I hold it down, something's going to happen. So sometimes you'll see this and you'll wonder, what the hell just happened? I'm going to hold the mouse down and move by accident. And look what it's doing now. It's not making corner lines. It's doing something completely different. Okay, I'm holding the mouse. And so this is where you just want to if you ever see it happen like that and you're trying to draw a straight line, that's because you accidentally held the mouse for just a little bit after while it was clicked. Okay. I'm not going to go too much into that right now. Okay. So go ahead and create a line. Just click, and now move. Now click. Now move again. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now move down towards one of the gray lines that's there, like your crosshair line. Just move down. Look at your cursor before you do anything else. Oh, see how your cursor just turned into a bullet point and those dash lines have popped up?
Yes.
Okay. That's because of the snap feature, right? And it's looking for specific things. So right now it's snapped at a 90, A equals 90. I'm not quite sure why it's picking, but all right. So, but look at your cursor. It's a target. Okay. That means it's created an intersection. And if you click right now, Even if you see your cursor is off that dotted line intersection.
Yeah.
But if you click right now, it's going to create the next point where those two lines intersect. And then if you move again. Okay, so now notice how your cursor is changing. It's like got all these different, it's like this real weird looking circly thing, right?
Yes.
Now just go back and to touch another line that you already drew. Don't click, just move the mouse. And now it's turned into a crosshair.
Jeez.
Okay.
Okay.
You have this feature turned on right up here.
Okay.
And we turn that on because it makes life a lot easier for you right now. And that feature is actually creating these pop points that's making your cursor change into different looking things. There's a square target now. Now watch what happens when I turn that off. Just notice how they don't have a line around them anymore. Okay. Now my cursor isn't doing anything. Okay, it's not snapping to anything. It's not. So snap means is I grabbed it.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to turn that back on. Snap is a little more advanced. Just make sure when you're drawing stuff that you have these on for right now. Sometimes it's a pain, but so these little lines are the snap feature trying to do different things. Take over and create a couple more lines. Okay, so now let's just say that that's the line. You're done with that line, but you want to keep drawing lines somewhere else.
Okay.
All right. Hit your space bar. Now, see how it stopped drawing a line?
Yeah, it took that line away too.
Yeah, because you didn't actually click somewhere to create that line. But look at your cursor. You're still in zigzag. You're still in that line mode. That means you can start up again. So click mouse again.
Oh.
Just click right there.
Okay.
And move. And do it a few times. See how you started new lines? Okay, now hit your space bar again. Now go to that bottom endpoint.
Right here?
Either one. It doesn't matter. Just go to that one. And look, your cursor turned into a square target. That means it grabbed the endpoint of that line. Now just click it and move. Okay, so you're starting a new line right there. And it grabbed it right at that endpoint. Okay, so at this point, if you're done, you just hit the close button or the escape button. There you go. So that's how line works. That's the basics of line.
What would I in what I know I'm probably not going to be using this anytime soon.
You'll use lines all the time.
What?
You'll use lines all the time.
Well, yeah, I know, but in like what would I be designing, or what would I be doing to use those lines? Because I can't figure out what the hell I would use them for right now.
Okay. Well,
because I don't want to get confused.
Let's say let's see. Let's just do this. Okay, I'm going to create this rectangle. It's very simple. Let's just make you want to make a very simple sign, right?
Okay.
With a lightning bolt. Okay, a lightning bolt's kind of a funny shape. So that's what you would use lines for. Okay, you'll use lines all the time.
Okay.
Okay,
so it automatically becomes a vector.
Yeah, any line is a vector. Circle, word, they're all vectors.
Okay.
But you're asking me when you're going to use the line. You're going to use the line to draw things up.
Okay.
Okay, it's that. you'll get there. You'll have a task when we're done, right? So, and you'll just have to figure, you'll have to work your way through it to make it happen.
Okay.
Okay. So now go to the next one. This is draw arc.
Okay.
Okay, before we get into the arc and curves, which is what we will get into after arcs, I want you to understand exactly what an arc is and then the difference, because we sometimes might think an arc is a curve, but in this case it is not. So we're going to talk about arcs first. An arc is a segment of a circle. So we have a circle, which is theoretically a true circle. And then we segment it somewhere. We can segment it that way so that all we have left is that part of the circle right there. This is an arc. So in the Vectric software, it's essentially a segment of a circle just like that. I'll do it again. Vectric creates a true circle. And then somewhere that gets divided. And now in this area, that's an arc. It's a part of a circle. Now, a curve is very different, and we'll do curves after this, but a curve is not an arc. A curve really is this. It can be anything like that. This entire line is nothing but curves. And this is essentially the way Vectric works it. So you'll understand that as you play with this further. Now, when we do this with Joe, I'm not going to dive too deep into it because it's trying to explain the way curves work at this point can really confuse you. You don't need to know it. So you do need to understand the difference between a curve and an arc. A curve is not a segment of a circle. An arc is. A curve is just some kind of random wavy thing. The good thing about curves, it gives you a lot of flexibility to work with them. You are going to work with them a ton. All right, let's get back into the software. All right, and typically you want the arc. It depends on how you use it. I'm normally using this function of arc. I'm going to close out of that because I want to help you understand where you'd use an arc at. So right now I have a rectangle that I just made.
Right.
Okay. For an arc, let's say I want the top of this, I'm making a silo. So I need a roof on there. The arc is perfect. I select the arc, I come down and let it snap to the corner there.
Okay.
You see how my cursor is changing?
Yeah.
I'll snap it to that corner there and I just draw it up. Hit escape and there's the silo.
Now, are you holding down? Are you holding down?
Oh, I'm just clicking. Select the arc.
Man. Okay. All right. Okay. This is where I got messed up.
That's okay. Just not that arc. Just new arc.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. So your snap's drawn. Don't worry about any of the numbers that are in there.
Okay.
Just, have the top one selected for right now. Select that corner.
Okay.
And then select the upper corner of that rectangle.
Upper
corner of the rectangle, or where the rectangle is crossing the center line.
Right here?
No, other corner. Other upper corner. No, you already clicked right there, right?
Right.
Okay, now click the upper corner straight up. Okay, now, you already clicked the other one.
I see what I did. Okay.
Hold on. All right, we're gonna get you out of there. Okay, do it again. You're gonna click this corner and then you're gonna click that corner.
Okay, got it. All right, here we go. That one. That one.
Okay, now move to the left. See the arc being formed?
Yes.
Okay, move to the right. Okay, so you can make the arc left to right, up and down. I'm going to come back in for a second.
Okay.
Now, you notice my arc up here is a half circle. That's how big you can make an arc. Okay, I can come all the way out here, and I clicked, and now we have an arc that's a half circle.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm going to click the corner again, and click that corner again. Okay, get down there. And now let's just say I want a nice smooth transition. So I'm going to click right there. And there's the arc. The thing about an arc is a part of a circle. A circle is perfectly round.
Okay.
So an arc is a piece of a circle.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. In fact, let me show you something. In Vectric, I'm clicked on the circle now. In Vectric, a circle is literally made of 4 arcs. Okay, I've created the circle there, right? Perfect circle.
Yep.
I'm going to just do something. Okay, I brought up nodes. This is one arc. That's a second arc. That's a third arc. And that's a fourth arc.
Okay.
Okay, just so you know, circles are made up of arcs.
Okay.
So the arc command is kind of fun. Okay, you can do some things with it.
You used that when you made that sign.
Yeah. Yep. I use it a lot.
Okay.
Third one is your Bozier curves. Okay, these are like variable curves. They're weird. The software figures out the math on these.
Okay.
But I've got it clicked, and look at my cursor icon. It's kind of swirly.
Yeah.
Now I want you to notice for a moment, I've clicked the button, but no menu on the left side has shown up like it did in rectangles or with circles. That's because in rectangles and circles, you can define the characteristics of the corners, the center points, the sizes of them. Bozier curves are very different, where you can't define all these different points because it's a variable curve. Okay, so I'm going to click here. And so far, it looks like I have a straight line, right?
Yeah.
And watch what happens. I clicked right there, and it created a curve. Okay, I'm going to click right up here. It looks like it's 90 degrees, right? We even get a 90-degree symbol at the corner, right?
Yes.
But I click it and watch what happens.
Jeez.
Okay, so this is kind of like freehand arcs. And you'll have to learn how to play with them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just some drawing, but it works the same as lines, except it creates these arcs, and it does some weird mathematical stuff that I can't calculate in my head. So okay, so the Bozier curves are very similar to the line function. We're almost there, but we've got 2 more things you've got to learn to get your basic designing going. The first one is the text function, where you can type out words, names, dates, whatever you want to make. And the second one is the trim function, which you will use all the time as well. So all these things I'm showing you all come together to get you started on basic designing. So stick around for these other 2 items. And before we get into the text function, which is what we're going to get into next, I do want to ask you again to please take that moment to hit the thumbs up button down below, like the video, because that helps the videos I create for you rank up, and comments have an even more effect on the ranking. So a comment always helps me, and of course you always get a response from me. And finally, subscribe to the channel. And lastly, if you're brand new to CNC routers, if you're shopping for a CNC router, I've got a deep dive review video down below in the description on the one that I use, the long mill CNC router, which will give you an education on CNC routers, just like you're getting an education here. And of course, router bits. If you do not have router bits, IDC Woodcraft is a CNC router bit company. And if you don't have router bits yet, I have the world's most complete CNC router bit starter set. It comes with the vector tool database. It comes with 7 design files, and you get some other perks along with it. I'll put a link down below. You can go click that link, and the description that you go to will tell you exactly everything you're getting. You'll actually be quite surprised. No other CNC router bit company gives you this kind of stuff. All right, we're going to start off with the text, and then we're going to work on the trim function, and then we're going to wrap this up. And I also hope that you'll put in the comments to thank Joe for allowing me to post this publicly. idcwoodcraft.com. And it's the text, so click the T. Wait a minute. Let's close that. Delete everything that we've drawn. Everything. So you have to touch everything.
Except this one.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
All right. So you see at this point why I was saying just design, quit playing with the other stuff. Right? Because you're going so far ahead of yourself. All right, click the text. Click that first T. Don't mess with any of the other ones.
Right.
Okay. So this is where you're going to type in the text. Now you notice in the screen right here is a box that popped up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's got a little dot on the bottom. Okay. I'm going to move up here and I'm going to click on the screen with my left mouse button. And that box just moved up to wherever my mouse was. So I can position it wherever I want to.
Okay.
Okay. That little dot is telling me that I am working off of center. So when I start typing in text, it's going to go out both ways.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if I go to the left, there, and you see the dot move to the left side?
Okay.
That means it's left justified, right? So it's going to start typing out that way. And same with the right. If I can get on there and click it. Now it's right justified. If that's the right term to use. Okay, usually you want to fiddle with it in here. You got a couple of selections here, bold, italic. Try to stay away from this selection and just stay with this. This one, this selection is all the text and font that's in your computer. Like you can select in Microsoft Word or something.
Okay.
Okay. And right below it is the different fonts that you have on your computer. So you're looking at that little rectangle box.
Right.
So you click that down arrow, and there's all the fonts in your computer. So you got a whole bunch in there. Slide down there. So you got a bunch of fonts to choose from. Okay. So right now we're on, what is that? Cabela or Caleba?
Kaleda.
Okay. All right. So click in here and just type something.
Wait. Click in where? The text box? Or
okay, in the text box, right in this area here. Not there. You have to be in that white text box.
Right here.
Yep. All right. So you see how it started to type out into the screen. I'm afraid of what's going to come after that. Okay, so we lost the rest of it. You can't say that's okay. That's okay. You see there's three magnifying glasses at the top?
Yes, got them.
Yep. Click I think the middle one. I think it's the middle one. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, so you've created text. Okay, that's how you create text.
Mm-hmm.
All right, close this. No, wait a minute. Just real quick. You can change your text size by changing it right in here. Okay, you can change that size. So change that to a 1. Okay, I'll change it to a 0.5.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, change it back to a 1. Okay. All right. Close that. Okay. Now, let's,
I was messing with the center for a while too.
yeah, it's off center right now. So so under in your vectors, right over here, you have the next line is called transform objects. Okay, click this button right here, that white button.
Yep.
Now click the at the top, click the middle button.
Right here.
Yep. All right, that's centered your stuff to the project material.
Okay.
Okay, close that. Oh yeah, one other button you want to know about, which is the one we just used. It's the button that centers your projects. So under transform objects, it's the last white button at the end. It's like kind of stands out for the rest of the buttons. Click that, click the button at the top in the center, and it'll center your whatever you have selected. As a matter of fact, go back about 2 minutes in this video and just watch it again to see where that button is at and what it's doing. And then we'll get on to the trim function. So let's take a look. Let's say you want, all right, we're going to stop there. Okay. So you've gotten quite a bit of stuff here. We worked on, I told you the kind of lay of the land that what you're looking at right now.
Okay.
And the basic drawing tools, right? How to work with what these things are right up here.
Yes.
We worked with the circle, the rectangle, and the 3 lines.
Mm-hmm.
We just did text for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you learned the centering. What we haven't used is the cut feature yet. So I'm gonna, I guess I'm gonna teach you real quick.
Okay.
Okay, so click the scissors. All right. First thing is make sure that this checkbox is always checked. Okay, it'll always be checked.
Okay.
Just I'm not going to explain why. Just make sure it's checked. All right. So now go in and pick something that's intersecting with something else.
Okay.
Pick the inside rectangle. Put your mouse over the. First of all, you got to come back in. So just bring your mouse over here. Okay, and then click the screen. Okay, you're on. Now come out into the drawing area and click. You can click right there. All right, now go up and click in between that little. You see what you? Okay, now click there. Now click that part right there. Now you're just muted. Okay. Now look how Garrett is crossing over that circle. So use your scroll wheel to come in closer. Okay. Now try to clip the little end of the little end of the G. No, the little end of the G. You got to zoom in more. Other side of the G. No. Zoom in. Okay, all the way to the left of the G. There. Try to see it. Notice how the scissors aren't opening up.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's text. It's actually built in what they call a group. You can't cut that right now. I'll teach you how to be able to do that later. But so what was going on before over here, it was like anywhere these lines were crossing over, you could cut, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now here you got the line crossing over the G. And if I try to cut that, the whole thing disappears.
Oh, jeez.
It's completely gone, right? Except for that. That's because the text is not something you can cut with right now. You can't do any cutting with the text. Okay, so I wanted to make sure you knew about the cut feature because you'll use that a lot. I'm going to end the screen share. So tell me what you think you've learned so far.
I've learned a lot.
Tell me what you learned. A lot is too vague.
All right, I've learned how to, let's see, I've learned, let's see, control Y and Z.
Yeah.
I learned how to use the mouse better with the scroll feature, that's for sure.
Yep.
You know, to magnify everything. Let's see, hold the, let's see, scroll wheel. Okay. The job. Okay. The job size is strictly just what the wood size is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know how to center a project now. How to cut or something like that. Lines and how to draw an arc now. Mm-hmm. Actually.
Right. I'm
going to mess with that arc. That's for sure.
Right. So in an hour, you learned this. This is why I don't like to answer email questions, okay, or single text questions, because it's such a waste of time when someone can schedule a one-on-one and look how much you learned inside of an hour, rather than trying to get one single stinking problem solved where you're going to run into something else right behind it. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yes.
So. Okay. All right. Get the plan. I want to see that sign that you make. 2 rectangles with curves on them and your name.
Okay. Hold on. I'm going to write that down. 2 rectangles.
Yep. The outer rectangle is going to be that external radius. The inner rectangle will be an internal radius, and your name needs to be inside of them, and everything needs to be on center.
Okay. 2 rectangles. Okay. All right, buddy.
Wow, you and I have been around for a while, but we are done for now, and you have learned the basic stuff that you need to know to start doing design work on the design side of the Vectric software. Do not, if you are brand spanking new to the Vectric software, try to fiddle with toolpaths until you understand this stuff first. Just play around until you got a basic feel for what you're doing with the circle, lines, squares, curves, trim, and then get over to toolpath, because you're going to run into a whole new set of issues when you get over there. All right, like the video, please, if you got something out of this, comment down below. Thank Joe for allowing this to be public to you, and if you got something out of this video, I would love to see a comment. Other things you wanted to see, please support IDC Woodcraft. I've got all kinds of router bits. Links are down below in the description. And with that, I hope you have a great day, better tomorrow, and start designing some amazing projects. IDCwoodcraft.com